Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Geography 101. Geography 101 are the places that I've been through, and today I have my special guest, my avid special guest. Of course, no other than Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana. Welcome, both of you, on Geography 101. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
So good to be here. So good to see you again.
Yes. Happy to be here with you, Daniel. One more time.
Yes. And please do come back again from another podcast so that we can promote your digital dojo. Can you tell us about this advocacy of yours?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do the summary or shall I?
You can go ahead. You do a very good job of it.
Why, thank you. The Digital Dojo is a place that we're really excited about because we've both worked one-on-one and with groups and with companies and with couples and families for quite a long time, and since the early 2000s. And we've put it online. We've got online classes. We've got lots of access to videos, and all of the things that we're finding have really made a difference to our lives and have made a difference to the lives of our clients and our friends. Now we get to share it with everybody. So that's what the Digital Dojo is.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your digital dojo to the world. Hoping for more and more and more advocacy like this to come. So today, let's talk about one of your favorite place on earth, which is
Drum roll, please.
The Caribbean.
yes, my drum roll is late, but I will do it again. Please.
Awesome.
I was joking, but that was awesome.
That was fantastic.
Yes, so Caribbean. What was the very first sight, sound, or smell that truly made you feel I'm in a Caribbean now?
Yeah, you first, I think.
For me, it was flying into the airport and getting just low enough as we're coming into land that I felt like I could reach down and touch the crystal clear turquoise water. That is always a very powerful visual for me whenever I've been to the Caribbean.
Definitely. Miss Colleen?
Yeah, and for me, it was we actually went because that's where Dana's family is from. So this was the island where his dad was from. We went to St. Kitts, and I'd certainly never been there before, but Dana had never been there before either. And for me, it was stepping off the plane and hearing the same accent I'd heard from so many years from his dad, but it was just everywhere. And I went, oh yeah, we are not in Canada anymore.
Oh, how would you describe the unique daily rhythm or pace of life you observe in Caribbean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's an awesome question, Daniel. And immediately, what you notice in a very obvious way is that the pace is much slower.
Lower. Oh, nice. Yes.
And in that environment, and I've been to the Caribbean before many times, but this is the first time that I'd been to that part of the Caribbean where my father was born. And I just landed, like Colleen was talking about with the accents. It was really neat for me to watch her kind of acclimate to the accents. And it was really powerful for me to hear an accent from everyone that I only heard from my father when I was growing up. Right? In Canada, I didn't hear that accent as often, but to be there and be surrounded by everybody with that accent, and then to be reminded how that slower pace was so beautiful because everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, whether they think you're from there or not, everybody says good morning, everybody says good afternoon, everybody says good evening, everybody says have a good day. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the pace is just more relaxed in general. So people are really warm and really polite and really friendly and very open.
Yes, and secluded. You think that I'm in a place where nobody knows me but people interacting each other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Very much. That's a good point.
What interaction with local person left the deepest positive impression on you, both of you?
Mm.
Oh, there were a lot of those. Um, do you have one?
I have one immediately, but you go ahead if you're
No, no, no. You
thinking.
go first. I have too many. I'm thinking.
So the one that stood out to me the most was we had gone to the pier, right, where interestingly enough, a lot of the big cruise ships come in, but there's like a whole little market and outdoor uh, shops and restaurants in this particular area. And my mom and one of my sisters and I were kind of lagging behind because we had taken some photos. And Colleen and my other sister and her boyfriend, they went ahead to get us a seat in the restaurant. And my mom and my sister and I, we kind of stopped for a moment and just kind of shared our feelings about being on the island where my dad was born. And he had just passed away in late in 2022. And being there for the first time was very powerful. And we kind of were sharing our thoughts about it and thinking, how he wasn't there with us physically, but we could feel his presence. And we gave each other a hug. So I had both my sisters, my sister and my mom, and I sort of pulled them close to me and I gave them both a hug. And a gentleman who I think was working in the market walked by and he stopped and he smiled a big smile. And in his very thick Caribbean accent, he said very gleefully a saying that we say in the Caribbean all the time, which is more love. And that means he's recognizing that love is present, connection is present, and that it's a beautiful blessing. So that's phrase, more love, he said about 3 times as he looked at us with a big smile and was so pleased and so happy to see that we were so close to one another. And he didn't know us and he didn't know why we were sharing that particular moment, but he celebrated it. And then all 3 of us said back to him, more love. And he said, have a blessed day. And he walked along. And we felt so moved by him being able to be, he's hustling to get to work, but he could see something special was happening. And we were in a climate and a culture where he could speak to it with a lot of joy. And so it was beautiful to share that joy with him in that moment. And that's the one that probably stood out the absolute most for me on the whole trip. And there were many, but that was a really powerful one.
Truly empowering experience.
Yeah,
Ms. Colleen?
yeah, that's a good one. Mine is actually at the same market. We had gone ahead, and there was a woman there. A lot of people have something called snackettes, so it's just a little tiny place to eat, sort of like a casual, even more casual than a diner. And this was this woman's snackette, and she didn't get off the phone from her sister the entire time we were there. She was, and she at one point she did this, and she was like, "Oh, this is my sister in England, so you're okay on your own." We're like, yeah, we're good. And was it sorrel or I think it was
Or
sorrel.
Mobby.
Mobby, it was Mobby. So there's 2 drinks, sorrel and Mobby, and they're both um, they take a little bit of getting used to, and they're actually I do Chinese medicine, so from a Chinese medicine point of view, it makes sense to drink them in really hot climates. They cool you down. But because they're a bit of an acquired taste, we ordered our food, and then she looked at me, obviously could tell I'm not from there, and she said, do you want like Sprite? Do you want Coke? What do you want? And I said, oh, you have Mobby. Can I have Mobby? And she looked at me and she said, yeah, I make it myself. And she poured me a glass of Mobby and handed it to me and said, try it. And I took a sip and I said, I haven't had Mobby in so long. This is so good. And she looked at me and she went, okay, good. You can stay. And there was this lovely moment. We went to pay for our food and she said, you haven't eaten yet. And we said, no, but we're buying food. And she said, no, if you don't like it, you don't pay me. And she was so thrilled that I love the Mobby, and she was so thrilled that we love the food. And she was so thrilled that people were coming there and we were all just meeting as who we were as opposed to, I think sometimes tourists can have that habit of coming in and wanting it to be their way. And just the sheer delight of wonderful, we're just all here to be here. And it was it was delightful. She was delightful.
Definitely delightful. And what's one surprising thing about Caribbean or its people taught you about community,
Mhm.
resilience, or happiness?
I'm going to go with you again.
Mhm. I think the thing that stood out for me and my connection to the island um, brings me a lot of joy to share, but also comes from a very kind of dark place. But it's very relevant to acknowledge that because the Caribbean islands, and particularly St. Kitts, um, were populated because of slavery and the slave trade. And they were established, those colonies were established in the 1600s. And there's a real appreciation and recognition for the history of slavery in that region. But yet, the people there, and it's so wonderful to have this be part of my heritage. They kind of remark the history of how African people got to the island with a lot of celebration, because people aren't there trying to deny that that's part of the history. They're not there trying to blame anyone or be upset about the history. What is most profound and how it stands out is that history is used as a reference point for celebration. It's almost to say, look at how far we have come. Look at how far we have triumphed and prospered over such terrible beginnings to grow into a nation, a small nation, but a proud nation that does not hide from any part of its history. When St. Kitts got its independence from the British Empire, it was in the 1980s. And even that was an expression of joy and gratitude, saying, we can now stand on our own and be strong and full of pride, even though the place we started from was so full of discouragement and oppression. So I think that that's every time I visit the Caribbean, and especially this time, because it was the first time I had been to the place where my father was born, I walk away feeling very, very proud of the heritage that I come from and the people that I share it with today.
Very well said.
Mm.
Mr. Dana, very
Thank
well
you, Dale.
said. How about Miss Colleen?
I think my moment was, I mean, there were just so many moments. It was such a fabulous place to be. The place we were staying had a swimming pool, and thank goodness, because I'm really good in 20-degree weather, maybe 24. 30, 31, 32 was getting a little iffy for me. So being able to just dive underwater and stay there for a while was great. And the second day we were there, the gentleman came by to clean the pool, and unfortunately there was a tarantula that had gotten into the pool and had drowned overnight. And so he came and said, yeah, I'm here to clean the pool, anything that I need to know. And I said, oh yeah, I feel really terrible, but there's a tarantula in the pool. And he looked so shocked, and he said, there's a what? I said, there's a tarantula in the pool and it drowned. He goes, you're kidding. How did it get there? And I was like, I don't know. We weren't here. And he said, what is it doing in the pool? And I said, I don't know. I guess it was, walking and fell. I'm not sure how this goes. And I said, where are they normally? And he pointed up, and I said, I'm sorry, what? And he said, oh yeah. And he pointed at the trees and at the roof. I said, you have tarantulas in the trees and on the roof? And he said, yeah. And I said, how many? He goes, oh, so many. And I'm like, I'm not staying here then. I'm really sorry. I have to go. And I said, how many? And he said, haven't you seen them? Like, especially at night, they all come out. And I'm like, how many? And he walks over the pool and he goes, what's that? I said, that's the tarantula. He goes, it's just a big spider. And I said, yes, that's what I was talking about. The tarantula. He goes, oh, yeah, no, that's just a big spider. And I said, well, what do you call it then if you don't call it a tarantula? And he looked at me deadpan and he went, big spider.
Big spider indeed.
And it was just this very casual, like,
Yeah.
don't make a big deal of it. Spider's a spider. And he thought I was talking about a bird. That's why he
Yes.
kept talking about the trees. He was like, it sounded really fancy. I thought it was some kind of bird.
Well, Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana, if you compare to Digital Dojo about the community and resilience or happiness that you experience to your company, what is it?
You just asked such great questions.
You do, Daniel. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to get you to go again.
Immediately, what your question made me think of, Daniel, was I got very reminded of the kind of community that I would like to see the Digital Dojo build and foster when I was in a place where my family is from, because it was a place of genuine joy and authentic invitation and real welcome desire to make you feel like your family. And the even though, you know, there's things like big spiders and terrible storms, and there's even an active volcano on the part of the island, everybody is pretty relaxed because they look at life from the perspective of, well, there's going to be things that you're going to have to face that you have no control over. But if you face them with a sense of joy and a sense of possibility, then you can handle those things and navigate through those things with a lot of strength and confidence, because everybody is helping everybody. Everybody is pulling together. No one is left out. No one's left hungry. No one's left cold. No one's left thirsty. And most importantly, no one is left lonely. So I would love to see that kind of culture and approach to society that I felt so powerfully, and I feel so powerfully every time I'm in the Caribbean, also come to the Digital Dojo so that people can feel that and feel like they are connected and feel like they are automatically welcome and feel and know that if they want to be, they can feel like they're amongst family.
Yes, long live to Digital Dojo. Yes, let's empower people all over the world through the Digital Dojo. And how about you, Miss Colleen?
Similarly, I think we were at a restaurant someplace, and there were people on the beach, and I asked a question, and this person said with great pride, "That's a public beach." And I said, "Oh, okay," because I noticed that this restaurant has some, branded chairs and towels and things like that down there. And they said again with great pride, and they said, "No, we made the laws here very specifically so people can come in from the mainland and they can buy property and they can charge whatever they want at their restaurants, but nobody owns the beaches. The beaches belong to all of us." So no matter who you are, no matter where you are, the beaches belong to everyone. And that's a similar feeling to the Digital Dojo, is this idea that the things that are, because the beaches are not just, it's not just to have a beach, it's to have some place to go and to visit and to be with friends and to listen to music and to cool off and to be happy and to be healthy and to really enjoy your life. And the work that we're doing, at the heart of it, sometimes it's hard, but at the heart of it is that we all deserve to be happy, and we all deserve to be happy and healthy together.
Definitely. And if you could instantly transport back to one specific location within Caribbean right now, where would it be and why?
I think it's Gerald for me.
Oh, right.
Yeah. When we first got there was this tiny, tiny little lizard, and Dana's sister's boyfriend was walking towards the pool, and I went, "No, no, no, stop, stop, stop." And he froze, and I said, "There's a tiny lizard there." And he looked and he said, "Oh, I didn't see him. He blended in." And and it was hot, and the lizard was just sitting there, and I said, well, you can't step on Gerald. And he said, how do you know that's his name? And I said, look at him, he's obviously a Gerald. So I put some glasses and stuff outside of, because he was just hanging out in the sun to make sure nobody stepped on him. And then I hopped in the pool, and Gerald looked at me, and he took a little step, and he took a little step, and he started to walk down the side of the pool. And I thought, buddy, I don't think you can swim. And he got into the water, and then he just kind of started to float on the side. And I went, oh, Gerald, buddy. So I got him, I put him on the side. And he looked at me, he dried off, he warmed up in the sun, and he started crawling towards the pool again. Went in the pool, floating on his side. I was like, buddy, got him out of the pool. And it was this lovely moment, because I think Gerald and I are still good friends wherever he is. I think fondly of him. But it was this lovely moment of connection, which is, I think, one of the things that we all love, but also this moment of just sheer perseverance. He's like, I'm going to try it until I make it.
Yes. Try until you succeed.
Yep.
Definitely. So what's a single most important piece of advice you'd give someone planning their first trip to Caribbean?
Mine's bring sunscreen. Yours is probably much wiser than that.
Be prepared to drink lots of fluids. Lots of water, and if you can, lots of electrolytes, like a Gatorade or Powerade or something like that, because the heat is very, very intense, and you can not realize how much it's affecting you until you are deeply affected by it when you're just out and enjoying things, because there's so much to do. There's so many things to see. There's incredible opportunities to interact with other people visiting, with local people, and the landscape is absolutely breathtaking. So it can be easy to forget how much you need to make sure you're hydrated on a regular basis.
Plus, when you're out and about, you cannot find coffee. There's no just a corner coffee shop. It's really hard to find coffee. There was one stand that said they sold smoothies, but they were shut down for the season. So you can't get anything like that. But you turn a corner, you go to a gas station, they're selling rum punch. So many people, especially tourists, walk around the corner and they go, rum punch, great.
And they're very thirsty.
And they just get, again, more and more dehydrated.
Well, thank you for the tips. Did you experience any funny or meaningful cultural misunderstandings?
Other than the tarantula?
Yes, and the tarantula.
Oh,
that's for you.
You know, I didn't actually, which is, I think, connected to, you know, I've grown up in Canada most of my life, and in the west coast, on the west coast of Canada, where there actually is a fairly significant population of Afro-Caribbean people in Vancouver, but we're very spread out. So I'm very used to being one of very few, if not the only, Black person in a crowd. So this is a cultural thing, but it wasn't awkward. It was wonderful. When I stepped off the plane, and everywhere I went in St. Kitts, I saw the majority of people who looked like me. And that was pretty wonderful and pretty neat. And people who sounded like inside of my home growing up. And what was also wonderful too was that I saw many people who didn't look like me, who were still being embraced and welcomed by each other, which was fantastic. So it was nice to feel both of those kinds of dynamics going on to a place where my heart belongs, because my family is from there.
Certainly. And what was the most significant challenge you faced while traveling in Caribbean, and how did you navigate it?
I mean, for people who are wimps like I am, I'm going to say the heat.
Number one is the heat.
Number one is the heat. I mean, it's stunning. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And you're walking through, it feels like you're walking through fog sometimes. The air is so dense. And again, without the electrolytes, like it's dizzying sometimes if you're not used to it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Yes.
Mm, I think that the most powerful thing that stood out to me as an obstacle was a lack of time,
you?
because there were so many things I wanted to see and so many places I wanted to visit, especially on that island, because I could retrace my father's footsteps of all the different places. And most of the places that we wanted to go to were kind of off the tourist path. They were off the regular beaten path that most people are get shown when they go to visit a place like that. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to see all the corner stores that my father bought, a bag of candy for a nickel when he was a kid, maybe a penny even. And we just didn't have enough time. So that was probably, there was so much to see and so much to do that we had to be very selective as to where we put our energy and time. And even with that, we still only saw maybe 1/5 of all the things I wanted to see and do.
Mm. Okay, before we wrap up our discussion for today, Ms.Colleen and Mr.Dana, please do grab a copy of one of my Spring Flowers, People's Spring Flowers, my
Oh, awesome.
photography book, which is, wow, beautifully come from British Columbia. I compiled it as a Spring Flowers volumes by volumes until I got 147 volumes. So
Wow.
Awesome, Daniel.
please grab a copy. They
That's
are one
awesome.
of a kind.
Gorgeous.
They are gorgeous flowers from Vancouver, British Columbia. It's
Awesome.
awesome. So available where books are sold. People,
Amazing.
Spring Flowers until 147 volumes.
Awesome.
And Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana, if you had to summarize the essence of your Caribbean experience in just one word, what would it be?
I'm going to say you again.
For me, the one word is connection.
Connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally connection because of the family.
Yes, so much.
And how about you, Miss Colleen?
I'm actually oddly going to say cool because but that was the whole feel of everything. Everyone was cool, everything was cool. I was happy to be where it was cool, but there was there was a real feeling of freedom and cool connection.
Yeah, you got a sense that no matter where you were, no matter what was going on, everything was going to be all right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Everything was going to be good. Just fine. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries at all. Please visit Caribbean. Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana, thank you so much for being part on Geography 101. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your Digital Dojo?
Yeah, thank you again for having
Yes,
us.
thanks, Daniel. It's so fun to have all these different kinds of conversations with you.
It's fabulous.
I love it.
Thank you.
And we'd love for people to come by the Digital Dojo. We have everything from 6-week courses to free things that you can just test drive and see what suits you best, because we just want everybody to have a way in to feeling good.
You can find us at thedigitaldojo.net, and all of our resources are there. All the social platforms and their links are there, and there's lots of wonderful stuff to take a look at and to continue a conversation with us that you started, or to start a brand new one with us. So thedigitaldojo.net is where you can find all of that.
Yes, people, let's support the Digital Dojo, because if you support them, for sure, more empowering advocacy to come. So, Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana, thank you so much for your time.
Always, Daniel. Happy to spend time with you. Thank you very much.
More to come, people. See you soon.